playing around with fabric and yarn and creating amazing stuff. So let's just meet them right now and talk about how fashion is actually preserving culture. I'm joined in the studio with Ashok Sunny, who is a bespoke tailor. Karibu sana, Ashok.
Thank you.
And I'm also joined by Evelyn Ashioya. He's also a creative director. She's a fashionista, I think we can see it. And I'm also joined by Uncle Mark, who's a fashion designer, and he specifically works with crochet. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. When did you start falling in love with fabric, with yarn, with African styles and whatnot? Maybe we'll start with you, Ashok.
Mine is a very old story, a young story. Mine started when I was very young, but it came into fold when I started understanding clothing and putting patterns together and blending things together and styling things. So I think mine started a very long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does it mean to build that relationship with African designs? Because you're young, so what are you reaching out to when you're working on your designs?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me here. When I'm thinking about my thought process when it comes to design, ideally is I look at the stories that we have in the African setting, and the goal for me is to actually share these stories with people out there, because I know culture is something that keeps on moving and shifting and all that. But for me, I look at cementing the African cultures and stories through fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're talking about culture and the stories that come with culture.
Yeah.
And crocheting. And specifically, you work with crochet. Crocheting is almost perceived as something that is done for female outfits, but you specifically do it for male outfits. How did that come about?
Actually, thank you for having me. I actually started crocheting at an early age. That's like 10 years ago. And one of the things that I wanted to do is to redefine men fashion through crocheting, because this is something that it has been dominated by the women and maybe the home decor. So I wanted to come up with something new. Personally, I'm this person that will want to stand out and be unique. So through crocheting, that's the only way that I could make it happen.
Lovely. Let me just come back to you, Ashok. The bespoke culture, where does it come from, and how is it morphing with the trends and the changing times?
So bespoke comes from the word bespoken. So in the olden days, people used to go to a tailor because it is not, tailors didn't have big shops. So you used to go to a tailor, you pick your fabric, and then they tailor the fabric for you. So once you pick that fabric, it's bespoken for you. So they never used to have a lot of yarns of fabric laying around. So you used to have specific fabrics. So once you pick it, it's bespoken for you. In terms of morphing with trends, one thing you need to understand about bespoke doesn't conform to trends. Bespoke is timeless. So when you get into bespoke is a lifestyle. Bespoke is a technique. Bespoke is a communication skill. So when you talk about bespoke, trends go out of the window. So you maintain a certain lifestyle, a certain way of living, a certain way of understanding, and a certain way of expressing yourself through what you wear. So when it comes to trends, we never look at trends because bespoke can never conform to trends. That's why it's a lifestyle that people live in for the longest time. So when you talk about bespoke, you can't talk about trends in the same sentence.
But suits keep changing. There's a time when, there would be the long ones, and then there's a time when you have only one slit at the back. Is that part of the changes, or that's part of the tradition?
No, it's part of the tradition. So you can have different styles, but the cut, the way you cut, the way you tailor, because bespoke is a tailoring technique. It's not about trends. It's not about fashion. It's a tailoring technique. So the technique doesn't change no matter what you tailor.
Wow.
So you can change fabric, you can change pattern, but you can't change the technique.
Every day is a school day. and take me through the craft that you go through. What techniques do you use? Because now I think we're almost confused between what happens in your workshops and what we see. Because we think that maybe the style is also the technique, but clearly there's a difference right there. What about your technique?
Well, again, going back to Africanism and the culture, the traditions, and everything that we've learned from our ancestors. Back in the days, they used to do a lot of weaving, a lot of basketry, a lot of plaiting, a lot of... ideally, the techniques that were being used basically were weaving and plaiting, and those are the kind of techniques that I apply into my craft because I tend to make pieces that are unique to a person, unique and tailored to that particular person, because if you're looking at telling stories and preserving culture, then it is going to be tailored to your story. So I tend to incorporate the weaving, the beading, which is also a technique that was being used back in the days, simply because I want to preserve it. Trends tend to make things go away and we tend to forget where we come from, but I look at maintaining and preserving this through the pieces that I create.
And I think I'll come back to you later when such pieces go outside of the country, like if we're selling stuff globally, when do you make those compromises on what you keep in terms of tradition and what you end up losing also in terms of tradition? But let's just get back to the crocheting, I tried making a mat some time back, and my goodness, I've made it for 10 years now. So, and I've not completed it. I can imagine the amount of work that goes into this handcraft. Take us through the process of designing and then crocheting. How long does it take?
Well, let me say, just like culture, it's passed from one generation to another generation. I think crocheting is only that art that has survived all times, all phases and everything, because as per now, never say never, but I know there's no machine that can do crochet. So crochet is purely 100% handmade. So it takes patience. So if you see any outfit, that outfit speaks patience. It speaks creativity. It speaks art, and it speaks like literally everything. So crochet is that something that is slow fashion and sustainable fashion. So this is a unique piece that you cannot even copy paste. Like this one, you cannot go get it anywhere because there are few crocheters, or if there are other crocheters, like it cannot be mass produced. So the period that it takes to make an outfit, it depends. Let's say a max of 5 weeks, no, 3 weeks, or 2 days. It depends with the type of outfit that you want to do or type of something that you want to create. So the period that it takes to make a crochet outfit, let me say for standard outfit like mine, 3 weeks max. Yeah.
How did you position yourself? Because we know suits. We've
Yeah.
seen them, we understand them. We know African wear, we've seen it, we've worn it, we understand it, traditional and all. But when we think of crochet, we think of vitambaa za kiti, za meza. How did you position yourself to actually sell an outfit with that technique?
Okay, crocheting is something unique. That's one thing that I know compared to other fabrics, like let me say the suits, the African attire, you know, and then there are few crocheters. So for instance, if I put on my attire and somebody is seeing that and is like, this is unique, I've not seen it anywhere, so I want it. Where did you get it? Where did you buy it? And then apparently they only to realize like, oh, it cannot be gotten anywhere in any mall. They must come to you. Yeah.
So maybe now we come back to Bev, and Bev, you can help us understand when you get into the global market, what compromises have you found yourself having to deal with while you are selling authentic African wear?
Well, stories are different. Stories are unique to a person. Experiences are unique to a person. So sometimes from the pieces that I have created, you'd probably find consumers or the market that I am getting into, probably they are having an issue with being a bit relatable or relating to the storyline that goes with that particular item or that particular piece. But all the same, I feel like it's not entirely a downside, because stories and cultures are meant to be shared. So as much as it seems like in a way they can't relate, probably because of the materials being used and stuff, they're also able to embrace it in a way as this is something that's new, this is something that I'm getting to experience probably for the first time. So it's a 50-50 kind of experience that I'm getting with the people who get to interact with the pieces that I create. Yeah.
Are you having a similar experience when people would like to have maybe a suit that has some African touch to it, or maybe a suit that has some other elements added to it? What has been your experience? Do you have to compromise on any technique? So
first of all, let me just break it down in terms of, because I feel like we touched on bespoke, but we didn't break down how these are the techniques that people use. So there's bespoke, which is handmade. There's made to measure, and then there's custom made. So widely, people use custom made a lot, because you go, even if you go to make a dress, your seamstress will make you a dress, it's custom made. Made to measure is a different kind of technique for making suits. So the measurement, the way you take measurements and the way you do a consultation is different. Like bespoke. Bespoke, you have to do measurements. Every limb, every torso, everything you have to do measurements. For made to measure, it's a garment that you pick and you wear it, and then they take measurements from the garment itself on how it fits on you. And then custom made is your standard. Your tailor will take you 2-3 measurements and make you something. So there are different types of techniques. So you actually don't compromise, because everyone picks the kind of technique they want their garment to be made. And you also, as a tailor, you advise on which kind of technique they can use. Because also remember, bespoke is very expensive and it's very time consuming, because it's handmade. It takes a lot of time. You have to do almost 4 fittings for a bespoke cut. So you have to be very patient. You have to understand and love the experience of bespoke. It's not for everyone. Then you come to made to measure also, it's for those guys who want things very fast. So I'll tell you I'm a size 56, but for a size 56, my sleeves are usually short. So add an inch. Those are guys who want things very fast. Then custom made is what everyone understands. It's globally, everyone understands what custom made is. So you don't need to compromise at some point, because it's what the client wants and what they can fit into what they want. So you usually don't compromise, because you know at the end of the day, making garments is an expression of yourself. So if you want African fabric and you want it in a suit, we'll make it for you, because it's an expression of who you are and what you want people to understand. Because like I said in the beginning, bespoke is a non-verbal communication skill. So if you see me the way I'm dressed, there's something that will communicate to you before I even open my mouth. Hence, bespoke.
What are you communicating? But that communication, if it cuts across the garments, the different things that we are making, what are you trying to say with your art, with your expression, with your choice? Why did you choose the yarn?
Well, personally, I feel like fashion is beyond what we are putting on, what we are wearing. So to me, when it comes to fashion and especially yarn, it is that something that will speak for you without you saying a word. So for me to stand out, I'm very sorry to say that I feel like I can be copy-pasted in a suit. So yarn, it's something that it is so unique, and that thing that will make me stand out. So I choose yarn because not every man, like it has not been accepted by the men. So it's something that is new and it's nice. And if a man is doing it, it's actually the icing on the cake.
Let's throw it to Ashok. You can be copy-pasted when wearing a suit. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. I agree and disagree. I understand where it's coming from, what he's saying, and it makes sense. But you see, at the end of the day, it depends on who's making the garment for you. Because you know, copy-pasting means you can never actually copy an original. You really can never copy an original. You can imitate, but you can't copy. You can't do it the same. Because if I'm doing something and this is my original piece, then no one can ever come close to giving 100% of what I've done. So you can never copy. So it's basically an understanding, because people usually think a suit is as simple as a blazer and a trouser, but there's a lot that goes into it. The mechanics that goes into making a suit, the mechanics that goes into making sure that you're comfortable in the garment and you can be able to perform your duties on a day-to-day in that garment comfortably from morning till evening. We have to consider weather, which fabric, what does the weather look like, which fabric do we make for you so that you can be comfortable, which fabric of the shirt, which fabric of a jacket, which fabric of a trouser. You have to consider where you're going. Is it an office? Is it an event? So there are a lot of things that have to come into that. And then when you're cutting, even the guy who's cutting, who's making that garment, who's making, when you're coming for fitting, a lot of things goes into making sure that garment fits you like a second skin. So when you say you can be able to copy, it's very ambiguous. But at the end of the day, I understand where it's coming from and it makes sense. But on my side also, I can say it is not the same.
Yeah, it's like a fingerprint, right?
Yeah.
But throwing this to all of you, muko na tabia za wafundi wote?
There's a difference between a fundi and a master tailor.
So the master tailor will not tell you, kuja next week, alafu ukose.
No.
Hautakuja na panga, tutakuja tupate tayari. Utatupatia 3 weeks for real.
Yeah, because there's difference between a fundi and an artist. That's the big difference.
What is that difference? Just one characteristic that is absolutely different between what we know as a fundi and what you guys are.
I would say it's also subjective. I mean, from one artist to the next, because the artwork in itself or whatever is being worked on has different processes to it. For instance, he's probably gonna, I mean, for him, probably pattern making would take the longest, more than the actual work. And for him, it would be the actual work. For me, it would probably be the sourcing of the materials. So it's usually different, but you tend to tie it down with your client. And once that's done, I think the rest is just a matter of you delivering. Yeah, so it's different.
Yeah. I'm sure it might have not been very difficult for you to tell your parents that that's what you want to do, but I'm curious about the guys. What was the experience when you made this choice that this is what you want to do? You want to build a relationship with garments on a career level?
First of all, let me go back to the fundi question.
You won't let it slide?
No, because most of the people that I work with in my workshop are fundis. So the fundis are actually, the problem is not the fundi, the problem is a lack of business acumen. Because the reason you'll always go to a fundi and your garment is not ready is just because of lack of business acumen. And this means how you run a business, how you price a product, and how you can be able to, you cannot be the tailor and the person making sure the garment is delivered to the client. So those are the things, the mechanics that go into it that make sure that the tailor, the fundi that you take your garment to can never deliver on time. It's just like if you're here, it is a whole team that makes sure this show is running.
Correct.
It is not you alone, you see, but you are the face. So the fundi acts like everyone. He's a cameraman, he's a producer, he's a sound, he's everyone. That is the problem. So going back to the question that you're asking, in terms of when I started the business, it did not start as a business, it started as a hobby. It was a passion. So, because my background is in BBIT. So I did my bachelor's and everything else in BBIT. So my idea was to build a business. So eventually when it came to time where now I need to decide what kind of business I need to do, is when I merge the two. So this is the passion and this is a business. So how can I make these things to become my livelihood? So that is where it was very easy because it was a process. Mine was not today, I'm sitting here with my parents and I'm telling them, okay, I want to make clothes, this is my career. No, it was just a process that came into full circle into that as a business.
And I like that, like you build up on certain skills and then you build up with the resources and bring everything together. Time is not on our side. I can't believe how time has run so fast. So maybe let's just quickly jump into our parting shots and perhaps talk to someone who's a creative out there interested in exploring this as part of their career. What are some of the things that they need and what are some of the things that they need to avoid? Real quick, 30 seconds each. We start with you.
Well, if you want to venture into crochet, let me say, this is one of the best or that hobby that will give you peace of mind, will make your mind relax, and you should have passion, patience, and everything. With that, I guess you are free to go and you'll enjoy your crocheting journey.
Bev?
Well, when I started my brand, Fabric Designs, I wasn't so sure which path I wanted to follow, but the things that I was coming across, or rather the things that I was involving myself a lot with, were actually very, very African. So I would say for people who probably want to get into this and they don't know where to start from, maybe they should try and look around. What are the things that interest them the most? What are the things, because as much as we are all designers, we have areas that we are focusing on. So you'd want to think of the things that interest you the most, then build from that, and then you'll be able to, of course, grow your business or your career or your craft. So other than that, I feel for me, this is the best place to be. So for people who are feeling like they want to get into fashion, you're not wrong.
Wow. Let's wrap it up, Asho.
For me, what I could tell any creative, whether it's fashion, whether it's whether you're an artist, whichever it is, skill is not business, but business can be skill. So you can build a business from your skill, but you need to understand they're two different things. So you need to be good at what you do, but also building a business is very different. So if you cannot build a business, find someone who can. If you have the skill, learn from someone who's already done it. Then you can be the best of who you are.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any other way we could have wrapped this up, because most of us are talented, but we don't know how to commercialize that talent, how to build a business out of the talent. And I think that's a very crucial point for all artists out there. If you cannot do the business, get somebody else to do that business for you. That definitely wraps up our conversation this evening. I'm Wakio Mzenge, our sign language interpreter was Rodan Yamaya, and from all of us here in the studio, we want to wish you a good night.